You know, I read a recent Gallup poll that said that less than half the American population have some kind of estate plan in place, or at least a will. 54% have nothing. And not surprising, the majority is younger people. Now, I have a couple of theories. One that pops right out is we don't want to think about our own mortality. It's very uncomfortable. And when we have to create a will, we have to think about our dying. And that's just not something we want to do. We want to think about living. We want to think about life. So what's the best way to avoid feeling uncomfortable? Don't create a will. But this actually is not a good thing. And here's why. We're leaving all the guessing to our family and our friends. I mean, think about it. Have you ever tried to figure out what somebody else was thinking, what they might want? It drives you a little crazy. You get anxious, you get excited, you want to get it right. You get very uncomfortable with the whole thing. Well, think about how your family's going to feel when they're in that position. They have to think about what you may have wanted. They have to guess. And that leaves them in a very uncomfortable situation. So, do you really think it's fair that we leave them in that uncomfortable situation at a time when they're dealing with enough, just so that we can avoid feeling uncomfortable for a day? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just offering it for something to think about. The second reason I've heard many times is that I don't have anything. I don't have anything to leave, so I don't need a will. Wills are for people with houses and families and lots of money. Wrong! We all have stuff. We all have something. I mean, look down, look around you. You have clothes, you have furniture. Look at all the furniture you're sitting on. Even the electronics that you're watching this. This is your stuff. And your stuff needs a place to go when you have. And again, leaving the guessing game to your family, we are the ones that are gathering all this stuff. So isn't it our responsibility to say where it should go after we're gone and not leave it up to our family? It's the right thing to do. So think about it. You have stuff. And it needs a place to go. But I want to share with you something else. A will is not just a place where you're going to have to say where your stuff goes. It's not this legal, cold, formal document. It doesn't have to be that way. A will can be very personal, and it can offer a lot of comfort. Here's what I mean. Your will can actually tell people how you want to be remembered. Let them know. And it can also serve as a verbal hug, is what I like to call them. Here's what I mean. In your will, you can say anything you want, including what you would like your final arrangements to be. How do you want to be remembered? Because remember, your final arrangements is usually intended to show the essence of the person's life, how people think of them, and how they will be remembered. I have one client that big, huge Yankee fan, and that's the way he wants to be remembered. So what he has said in his will is he would like his ashes scattered at Yankee Stadium. Shh. We know, this is illegal and we can't do that. But he said just the thought of it is what he wants to leave behind. If it can happen, he's very happy. But he wants everybody to remember how much of a Yankee fan he was. And I had another client, and she said, I don't care what you do. I just want Stairway to Heaven to be played the entire time. Whether it's a day or 2 days, doesn't matter. I need the song to be played. Why? Because that's who she is. And she is the essence of that song. And every time somebody hears it, they're going to remember her. That's how she wants to be remembered. And I'll even share you with mine. I don't want to wake, because that's not who I am. That is just not who I am. So what I have asked is for my family and friends to rent a boat for the day and go out on the ocean. Have a party, drink a little extra for me, share stories, share memories. And you know what? Get a little fishing in if you want. That's fine. But then at sunset, I'd like them to all gather around and release my ashes into the ocean with a bunch of rose petals. Why? Because when they smell a rose or see a sunset, they're going to remember me. And that's the way I want to be remembered. So you see, you can say anything or do anything in the way that you want to be remembered. Now for the comfort. Your will is a way for you to let people know how you feel about them, how much you cared and you loved them. It can also share memories and extend from beyond and give them comfort. I mean, take a moment, just a moment, and close your eyes and think about how your family members are going to feel at that moment. What is in their hearts? What are they thinking? And what would you say to them at that very moment if you could be there? Now say it in your will. Share some stories. Share some laughs. I've heard many jokes being put into the wills, and they just, I'm chuckling thinking about them now. But it warms my heart that this is how they are going to be there for their family even when they can't. And that's what you can do. So remember, your will is more than just a will. Your will is a way to connect, to be remembered, and to show your love for your family. So think about it. This is just a little advice from your local mother-in-law. And I'm Holly Meyer, and I could always be found at maggiomeyer.com.